My name is Fabrice. I'm the director of OpenERP Americas. We're going to talk about the new PayPal integration. And we are actually going to something that everybody at this event loves. It is getting paid. So the presentation is basically split into 4 parts regarding features at least. The first 2 ones are actually already part of version 7, but I'm going to cover them as well very quickly because it's something that not a lot of people know. And then the number 3 and 4 are new features that we are introducing. So the number 1 is the PayPal link in sales orders and invoice emails. It's the fact that you can have a PayPal link into an email that you would send to a customer that allows him to click on that and then pay straight away on PayPal. As a reminder, you don't need to have a PayPal account if you want to pay through PayPal, at least not in every countries. There are countries like the US where you don't need, and you can say I don't have a PayPal account and pay straight away. For some others, you actually need to create a PayPal account, and when when PayPal really wants to make sure that the transaction is safe, they actually sometimes, for some countries, enforce the association between a bank account and a PayPal account. So that would be the number 1. Number 2 will be the fact that portal users or salespeople can process payments through PayPal from within OpenERP, and we will see that. The number 3 will be about the charging transaction fees to your customers, and the fact that they will be the ones taking care of that transaction fees as opposed to yourself absorbing it through the total invoice amount. And the number 4 will be payment terms, aka installment plans, and the management, the automated management of this within PayPal straight away. So let's start with number 1, and I'm going to switch back and forth between my presentation and the product, so we'll see all this within OpenERP. So the number 1, extremely straightforward. It has been introduced in version 7. The way you install this is that it's already existing in the sale and account modules. So as soon as you have sale or account, it's there. And the way you activate it is in the settings, accounting, and if you create a PayPal account, that's what I'm going to do in a minute, it will be activated. And of course, the business benefits of having your PayPal link into your the email you sent is, of course, that the customer takes care of filling in the whole form, that you don't need to hold credit card numbers on file, and that it's automated. So let's do this. I will be using the admin users for this one. I will switch just after to show you the difference. And the first thing I'm going to show you is that obviously I have sale and account installed. And if I go to my accounting settings, the instance that I'm running here is a version 7 with additional. It's actually my branch. It's a modified version 7. If I come to the account settings, I will have here in the PayPal section the PayPal account field, and so the way I'm activating the default PayPal features is just by having one PayPal account in there. If I remove it, it will not have links in the emails. If I put one, it will. So I do this, and just to show you, I come back to sale. I'm going to create, or I'm going to create a quotation. To Agrolais, whatever product for $500. I save. I only have 1 gig on my virtual machine, so that's why. I confirm the sale, and depending, I'm going to send the email of the sale order to my customer. Confirm the sale. and I'm going to send this. So in this example, I have this in a template. You could have that automatically with the sending email buttons. So if I take this and I take my send by email sale order template, okay, it's here. And what I'm actually going to do is send this to OpenERP, open this, so this, and send. It will show in, of course, the Open Chatter, if it happens. Yes, no. Okay, finally. And I'm just going to reload. Okay, and this is the email that the prospect would receive. If he clicks on this, open in a new tab, here, it's going to open a regular PayPal payment form with the amount $500 of this sale order. I can do that with the sale order. I can also do that with the and of course I'm not connected. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. Okay. I cannot show you the page it loads, but it's the most regular PayPal payment form that you can imagine. There were some screenshots this morning. So once the customer pays this, as a business, you will receive an email telling you that the person has paid, an email like this one. Extremely regular, it's in version 7, nothing new here. But that will be important for the rest. So after that, it's also possible to activate the payment of portal users to be used straight within the interface of OpenERP. And to do that, you need to install the portal. It's part of the portal, the standard portal module. And the way you activate it is, again, in the settings accounting. You have a checkbox that allows you, in settings accounting, to specify this. And what's going to happen is that it will be available for portal every time, but if you check the show payment buttons to employees too, it's something that will show for regular sales orders as well. So first, I'm going to apply this and come back to my sale order. To show you that we have a banner here that allows a salesperson who would create a sale order or an invoice to, for example, get a customer on the phone and get the information that he needs to process the payment himself. He would just click from here. Again, it would open the regular PayPal page with the very straightforward form, as usual, as everybody knows. You could do this exact same thing for a portal user. Here, if I log out and I log back in as a portal user, John, I will only have access to the sales orders of John, and hopefully I have an open one. Yes. John is a customer of the company accessing to this particular sales order through the portal, and he would be able to do the same straight from the interface of OpenERP, again linking back to a PayPal form. So now what we want to do, I'm going to re-log back in as admin. And the next topic is to charge your customer for transaction fees. So this is a feature that is being introduced in Trunk, but we backported it to version 7. So it's also available on version 7 right now. And the way you install this is that it's already included in the existing modules. If you have sale account and portal, that will work. The way you activate it is again in the settings accounting, because there is a third checkbox over there that will allow you to activate this and to specify the fees, domestic and international fees. The benefit of this is, of course, that you make your customers responsible for the payment method that they choose. If they don't want to pay the transfer fees of PayPal, they can still send you cash or wire transfer if it's less expensive. It, of course, also considerably decreases your write-off accounts if it's the kind of thing that you used to absorb in the past. So I go back to settings, accounting, and I'm going to activate this. And this is a checkbox, so I charge PayPal fees to customers. And you see that I have my domestic transaction fees with 1% and one fixed fee. And typically with PayPal, it depends on the countries, but typically it would be 2.9% and then 30 cents on the total of the transferred amount. And for international transaction fees, it will be 3.9% and then 30 cents. So if you do this, that you apply, what the system is going to do is that it's going to add the handling parameter in the PayPal link. And what is going to happen is that you will have a handling line additionally to the total line in the PayPal payment form. So instead of paying 500 euros, the customer will pay a little bit more because he will have to pay for the fees. And if I take the example of Agrolé, which is in Belgium, and my example company that is in Belgium as well, we are talking about a domestic payment, I will create the invoice and send the invoice by email. And because I don't have internet, I will show you just the source that shows that the link was changed. So this is the email that is being sent. There is a PayPal button, and in this PayPal button, the link is here, and you have a new variable here, handling fee. Here you have to be very careful. It's a little bit of algebra, but if you sell for $100 invoice, and that your fee is just 2%, so $100, 2%, you will not ask 102% to your customer, because 2% of 102 is not 100. So if you do tests with this, keep that in mind. It's you have to start from the gross and then work your way down to the net based on the percentage first and then the fixed fee. But from a technical standpoint, the only thing that changes is that it calculates the handling fee based on the information and then it adds it in the link. And the way it will show on the PayPal payment form is that you will have your $100 euros and then the handling fee line. So the customer will see that he pays a handling fee additionally. And of course, the difference between international and domestic is that OpenERP will look at the country of your customer and of your company. And if you don't specify any, it will consider domestic by default. If you do this, again, you will receive a similar payment, a similar email as this one, just with the total with the handling fee. And finally, we have installment plans. So it's the most exciting one of the four. It was introduced in Trunk. We backported it in version 7. The way you install it is that you have to install a module. It's called PayPal Installment Plan. And the reason why it's a separate module and we didn't integrate it with the rest of the PayPal integration is because it is a service that you have to activate with your PayPal account. It costs $20 per month, but if you are working a lot with PayPal, it's totally worth it. And the reason why it's totally worth it is because it decreases the collection time, it decreases the risk of customers defaulting on payments, and you get the customer's commitment at once and even in advance. What this means is that PayPal has a service that very few people know about that allows you to ask PayPal to keep on file the credit card information and to charge when it is supposed to charge according to a payment term, or in PayPal's terminology, installment plan. So it means that if you are supposed to get $500 today and $500 in 30 days, you can send a link to a prospect and tell him, fill this form once, click submit, and he will see that he commits to this particular installment of 50% now and 50% in 30 days. And in 30 days, so right now at checkout time the payment will be processed. PayPal will keep the information on file and do it again in 30 days. So I'd like to show you this. The way you activate this is through the payment terms. So we modified the view of the payment term for this. And the reason of this is because the payment terms configuration or creation in OpenERP is more flexible than the one on PayPal, most flexible than the one PayPal supports. So we had to create a payment term supported by PayPal checkbox. You will see that in a second. I will create a new payment term called, for example, 20% now and 80% in 7 weeks. And I have this button here, supports PayPal recurring payments. And if I click this, this basically tells me that I have a few limitations because the PayPal API doesn't allow to do everything that OpenERP allows. And I will specify that my unit of time is weeks. I could decide month. Basically, you will be able to work with 1 to 52 weeks or 1 to 12 months, depending on which unit you choose. And you can only have 4 lines in your payment term because that's the maximum PayPal supports. So if I do this, I will have my 20%, and I realize here it's correct to say this, so it's 0.2. There is a mistake here that needs to be changed. So this is 20% and then 0 because it's at checkout time, it's right now for the first 20%. And the balance, the 80%, after I said 7 weeks. 7 close. And I save. So if I go to an invoice and I create an invoice with this payment term. I will have a PayPal payment button which is going to have all the variables necessary to take care of this. No, because I didn't select my PayPal payment term. So I edit. I cannot. I will duplicate. Duplicate. Okay. I have my 7 weeks here. I save, I validate, and I send by email. And in my email, in my link, I will have here all this part that corresponds to the variables for PayPal to understand that it's a payment plan. When you do this, and that the customer pays, you only submit the form once. PayPal will keep everything in mind and generate and process the payment when it's needed. This is what you have to activate on your PayPal account. It's an additional service by PayPal that allows you to do subscriptions, installment plans, and what you receive back as a business being paid is this. So here I have an installment with 478 and 13 cents. 4 times at, you see the different dates, you see it was paid on a certain date already for the 2 first, and then there is still a payment due in the future. And there is something, if you look at the details, something that might strike you here is that the payment we just got now was paid on June 19th, was supposed to be paid on June 19th, but it's June 24th. And the reason of this is because you might wonder, it's probably the first question I would get if I don't talk about it, is what happens if the guy blocks his card? Or what happens if the customer maxed out his credit card and Visa cannot take anything out of it? And the answer to this is that PayPal will try. If it fails, it will tell you and notify the customer that it was unsuccessful, and will retry 5 days after. And you can actually configure on PayPal, on the PayPal website in your account, if it's supposed to be every 5 days afterwards or every 1 day, and for how many times. Maybe you want to say, if it doesn't work 3 times, every 5 days afterwards, just give up, and you are supposed to run after your customer for money, basically. You can also specify that it's supposed to, that PayPal should try this for an infinity of time. So, summary of this is that the PayPal integration allows you to get paid faster, in full, and for sure, or almost. At least it decreases dramatically the time your salespeople or accountant would spend on collection, because everything is automated. And the reason why I said earlier that you get the customer's commitment at once, of course, is because he fills in and commits on this payment plan at once, but even in advance, because the first payment doesn't have to happen at checkout time. If you want to have an installment plan that says the first payment, maybe it's 50% in 1 week, and then the 50 other % in 5 weeks, you can do that. And it's great because if your customer says, you know what, I will pay in 1 week. I promise you I will pay in 1 week. You can tell him, okay, fill in this form and click on submit, and then I will trust you. You will not be charged now. You will be charged in a week, but PayPal will take care of it automatically, and you don't even need to keep the credit card number on file. So it's a great way of getting a commitment even in advance. It is still a work in progress. So what we still need to work on for this module and improvements is the support of PayPal subscriptions that allows more flexibility in the installment. You've seen that I could play with weeks and month, but we can support more than that. We can be more flexible. Support of installments in sale order banner, support of handling in sale order banner because it's still to be improved. The handling on installment is something we can do. There are limitations on PayPal, but we have a way around it. And finally, pre-population of fields in the PayPal form. So we can also have any PayPal form that the customer would have clicked on pre-populated with all the information of their company from within OpenERP. You can also do that, so it doesn't even have to fill it in. Everything OpenERP knows will be already pre-populated. Estimated time of arrival in trunk in August 2013, approximately. So freebies for the OpenERP days. We actually have full functional specifications for this, and you will find them there. This presentation will be also available online, so you don't have to write this down. But we have full functional specifications about the handling fees and the installment plans. We have diff files for version 7, so if you really want to use this right away with your version 7, you can go get that here and apply it on your own instance, on your own branch. If you want to follow the progress of these, you have the branches on Launchpad that we are working on. And finally, an interesting one is the PayPal URL variables reference, because you have additional configuration in OpenERP when it comes to payment acquirer. In the settings, you can use PayPal, and this presentation is about PayPal, but you could also do this with any other payment acquirer that would allow to have to receive and send calls through the accounting settings. And that's it for my presentation.